How's it going, everybody? I'm going to say up top that if you're here to hear some sort of hot take or watch the trailer, or you were searching for the trailer of the movie Unplanned, you're in the wrong place because this video is a little bit different than what I normally do, and if you want to see the trailer, you can check it out. It's on the internet somewhere, I'm sure. I'd love to have you stay, but I don't want anybody to think that this is something that it isn't.
You've been warned!
I originally wasn't even going to put this video out. This is the second time I'm filming for this video. There's been a lot of stuff in the news about people going through people's old thoughts that they've said. All of them have things that I disagree with on. More than that, though, I think all of them probably have things that they now disagree about who they used to be. I bill my channel as a place meant to encourage people to think for themselves. I think there's something very important about that. I've always seen my channel as a learning opportunity, a place for me to kind of put myself out there where I am at the time that I've made the video. Primarily for production purposes. You know, I'm like, if I had to wait till I was a professional, I just wouldn't ever put out a video. So the best way to learn is to just make videos, put it out there, and then learn from your mistakes.
Nobody expects it to be perfect. You're gonna learn as you go, but you're never gonna learn if you don't, go.
But I believe that also in our beliefs. If you have to wait till you know what you believe about an issue or wait till you have some sort of conclusion, I think that creates a culture where we have a bunch of people acting like they're experts about things and people getting mad if somebody isn't an expert about something. I just think that's dangerous. So that's not my channel. This video that we're about to watch is very much me searching through some thoughts. The movie Unplanned is about abortion. My channel is not an abortion channel. I'm afraid people are gonna be mad at me, and I don't like that. That's what makes me want to say what I'm saying right now, because I hate more than anything not being allowed to say and think through and talk out my ideas and know that I can be wrong. This isn't some sort of justification, but it's something that I wanted to talk about because if I'm afraid to do it, then that means that that's an important thing that needs to be talked about. In conclusion of this introduction, I think that I'm probably not the only one who's been treated like crap because I'm just thinking things through. For that reason, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm going to release this video. You're welcome. Abortion. So I'm going to talk a little bit before I show this trailer. I haven't watched this yet, but many of you have sent this to me and asked me to talk about it. I don't know if you've noticed, but I don't talk about abortion much. It's an uncomfortable topic, and it's a very divisive topic. But I've decided that I am going to talk about abortion. In fact, this is not funny. I don't know why I'm laughing. I'm uncomfortable, that's why. I have a video of review that I've already filmed of a movie called Come What May that is about abortion. I guess this will be Kevin Talks About Abortion Month.
Whoa!
Oh, gosh. Okay, it's not a fun topic. The one time that I said anything about abortion, I made a joke. I did a lot of research and I put out a video, and so people who still get upset at me for that, get over it already. The trailer is for a movie called Unplanned, and it is about Abby Johnson. I've actually been in the vicinity of Abby Johnson because I used to work at Focus on the Family, a place that, is very anti-abortion. I was an editor there, and you know what? If you don't know what it's like to work at a place where if you think that... I don't have to defend myself on this. I'm just gonna say that sometimes you work at places where you don't believe in everything that they say. I happen to agree with a lot of things that Focus on the Family does in terms of like their foster care initiative, that they've really done a lot of great things to try to push in the direction of getting kids out of foster care, giving them homes, forever homes. So I commend them for that. Abby Johnson, I appreciated the episode that I heard her on Focus on the Family, because one thing that I think she does, because I don't know, I don't have a huge, strong stance on abortion. Yeah, I know. That's terrible. I'm a terrible person. What I do have a big, strong stance on is being a jerk, being an asshole to people for what you believe. The story of Abby Johnson, from what I understand, is she used to work for Planned Parenthood, and she shares her story, why she worked there. And what I liked about hearing her story is that she talked about who she was like before she became anti-abortion. She kind of takes you through the emotional aspect of that and humanizes people who are pro-abortion. That's one thing that I don't like about the Christian right, is the demonizing and the way that people are made out to be monsters. In fact, that's something I don't like about either side on this issue. I don't like when people are made out to be monsters, because that's not usually the reason people are pro-choice. They're not monsters. And the reason people are pro-life isn't because they're monsters either. But they both seem to act like monsters a lot of the time. And that is something that I actually am against. I don't like us acting like monsters all the time. And when we other people, whenever we look at people as irredeemable, that's when we get what we have in our country today, which is just people being jerks to each other all the time. And I don't believe in that. I don't like it at all. And so I appreciated Abby Johnson's story. She talked about how, there's this argument that if Planned Parenthood wasn't there providing abortions for people, then they would be getting abortions on the street, or they'd be throwing themselves down the stairs, or like doing dangerous things. So this is the idea. This is the motivation, whether it's right or wrong, behind a lot of people who work for Planned Parenthood. And I will also say that Planned Parenthood doesn't only do abortions. That's not all they do. They're a health clinic, and so they do some pregnancy prevention. I don't want to pay for any of that. That makes me probably the cold-heartedest person. I don't want my tax dollars going to it. That's probably where I draw the line. And then, well, you'll have to face God for anything else that you do. You don't have to face me. Okay, so all of that out of the way. Wow, that's some great content right there. My saddest reaction video. I was told by someone that this was a pure flick, but I don't think it is. Here's the things, before I get into this, here's the things that I hope happen in this. I hope they take an approach similar to Case for Christ, since this has similarities to where it's one person who believes one way strongly, and then they kind of change what they believe based on new facts, new information. This could take that approach. And so I'm actually hopeful that this movie actually could be decent. Even if you don't agree with the message behind it, I'm thinking that it could potentially be a good movie, a well-made movie that shares a side that you don't believe in, either side of the argument that you're on, and that maybe, just maybe, you'll learn as an individual a little something about why people who don't believe the way you believe the way they believe, and maybe you'll learn to be a little more sympathetic. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
Our first order of business is to present Planned Parenthood's Employee of the Year Award, Abby Johnson.
Oh, Employee of the Year. Good for her. Oh, that's... Okay, so it's not Pure Flicks, it's just the writers. The writers of the first God's Not Dead did not write the third one. I don't know if you could tell, but they did write the first and second, I believe. I don't know their names.
This is Abby.
Maybe I'll get them on my podcast.
Abby, this is Cheryl Alessandro.
I'd be the youngest director in Planned Parenthood history.
You'll actually be in charge of the abortions at your clinic?
I have a chance to make a real difference.
No matter what you do for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah. This is what's interesting. I remember her talking about how these people who were protesting, they really didn't help her change her mind. I don't know if she protests now, but if I remember correctly, her job was to go and talk to these girls who were like outside and help escort them and guide them into the clinic, who were there and they were scared and they had all these Christians yelling at them. They needed somebody to help them. Now, I think part of there was coaxing, potentially manipulation involved in her job. Again, it's been a long time since I heard her story, and if I review this movie, I'll do a lot more research, but in these trailer reactions, I'm a little more off the cuff. I don't think yelling at people helps. I think talking to people helps, and making YouTube videos perhaps helps. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they portray the protesters.
You even hear yourself talk right now about these procedures? These are little babies.
I'm not going to apologize for doing a job that helps women in crisis. But the one thing that all experts agree on is that at this stage, the fetus can't feel anything.
Not true.
Are you free?
Yeah, I've heard that it is not a pleasant procedure. It is true that the fetus during an abortion reacts, and that's heartbreaking, and I don't like that. I don't like it. Though it is an emotional argument. What argument for life isn't emotional? At some point, you have to get into, emotions, right? Like, it's wrong to murder. Well, why? Well, because emotionally, we don't want to die. Yeah, this is what changed her mind, and I've heard that affects a lot of people. So, yeah.
I saw it. It was
like recently, that law in New York where it talks about up to 24 weeks, an abortion up to 24 weeks. Like, you look at a 24-week fetus and it's a baby. That's a fully formed baby. And I don't like that at all. Now, I'm probably on the fence as to where I stand whenever it comes to like early term. You know, again, I wouldn't do it. I'm not going to do it, but I'm a married man, and so I don't have a dog in that fight. But this argument about contraceptives and you know, I'm on the fence. I don't want to tell people what to do in that regard, and you know, morning after stuff. At some point, it becomes a life. I think it's probably before 24 weeks when they have hands and a head and legs and stuff. I'm literally going to get everybody mad at me for these things I'm saying, but I think that it's a complicated issue. I do go into this a little bit in my review. Ugh, I hate talking about this. I'm just going to stop talking about it right now and finish watching the trailer, and then I'm going to go cry.
I really appreciate what you've done for us. I'll not forget it.
22,000 abortions. How do I even comprehend that?
You are our baby from the moment of conception.
We are paying you to be a perfect instrument of corporate policy. We are an abortion provider.
Okay, all right. See, here's what I don't like about this movie already. This face right here. And not her face as in the person, the human, the soul that lives inside of that body, but the expression. A good movie can make you empathize with the bad guy. Not that you're rooting for the bad guy, but you get to see their side. And I think that that's important. Like, it's just deeper. Whenever you see a movie where it's not just like, I'm evil, it turns people off. It turns people away, and it's not really convincing when you present them. You know, like, how are you going to convince people of something when you present them in this evil, I'm out to murder babies light? Because I don't think everybody feels that way. Not everybody wants to murder babies. Kevin, 2019.
Let me tell you what's going to happen if you walk through that door.
Wow, I haven't said anything.
Congratulations. You've made an enemy of one of the most powerful organizations on the planet.
My beliefs and tendencies towards this generally come from my distrust of the government than it does from my Christian beliefs. I don't like the politicization of this. I don't like the conflation of abortion with Christianity. I think that Christians lose sight of that and they turn people into devils. However, when she's like, you're about to go up against one of the most powerful organizations in the country, that's not wrong. And it's not wrong because of the government protections that exist with Planned Parenthood and the government funding. And it's also interest groups and lobbyists, and there's a lot of money behind it. I don't doubt that there is wait, you're going to get corruption. It's a fact that there is corruption within Planned Parenthood, and that's no good. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Whew. I don't know what else to say. I'm sorry, everybody, that I'm so milquetoast on this issue. That trailer, it looks one-sided. It doesn't look any different than a lot of the other abortion movies that I've seen come out. You know, maybe I should review October Baby before I give it a positive recommendation, but from what I understand, the way that they present that, it's palatable. And this seems so on the nose and in your face and unpalatable in the way that they portray these characters. They're caricatures. I could be wrong, and I was wrong about Case for Christ, so maybe I'm wrong about this. We'll all just have to see, won't we? All right, thanks for joining me today. Thanks for bearing with me as I talk about this uncomfortable topic. Thanks for sticking with me, and if you have any questions, I'm not a monster, so you can always talk to me about these issues. And you kind of get where I stand. I'm on the fence about some things when it comes to early term, and the reason for this is because I don't have to make that choice, and the other reason is because I think that it's a complicated issue. I do agree with kind of erring on the side of life. I think that I think that there's a decrease in the value of life across the board when it comes to society. I think it's very similar to A Brave New World, where people kind of don't see life as valuable. I am an individualist, and every individual is important, and we don't respect where life comes from, and it's the only place that it comes from. We can't create it any other way. In A Brave New World, they are able to create life in a lab. People don't procreate anymore. It's easy to make life, and so it becomes unimportant. Everyone is disposable, and I don't like that. I believe in the individual, in the humanity of individuals. There should be a respect for even procreation. You know, that you shouldn't just throw it around and give it away to people. Even if you're not a Christian, the respect for the intimacy of sex, yes, I said it, is important. There's value in it. And there's a connection there between you and the person that you make love to. And there's also, it's the way that children are made. Spoiler alert for those who haven't had the talk with their parents yet. We should respect that. And we should respect whether it's a clump of cells or not. Like, that's where life comes from. There's something special and important about that. I don't like this kind of idea that we just, oh well, who cares? Like, what's her face? Where she sang the song and, abortion, we salute you. That's so gross to me. Even if you're pro-choice, I can't imagine being so pro-choice that you're just like, this is and you celebrate it? No, I'm not into that. I'm not down with that. So there's my thoughts. Wow, I really went into it this time. I hope you guys enjoy this episode. Talk to me is what I'm saying. If you want to convince me to get off the fence on some of these topics, feel free. As long as you acknowledge that it's not that crazy to be on the fence on something that is a very, very gray area. Thank you very much. Have a great day. Good night. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this episode. Big shout out to my Patreon pledgers, the Barely Protestant Podcast, linked in the description, Jacob and Emily Rugrock, and Amanda Stewart. Seriously, I'm very grateful for everyone who pledges over there. It's a really fun community, and it's also the only reason why I'm able to continue to make reviews. So thank you so much, and thanks for watching. Good night.